Hello, welcome back to Wayne's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making bourbon chicken. You probably had it in your local mall food court, but I'm going to show you how to make it. First off, what I want you to get ready is 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast. Chop it up kind of small. I'll go about that big. Don't want it too big. You can make it bigger if you want, but I prefer it that size. Then I want you to get olive oil. You're going to want to go between 1 and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You can use 1 if you want, especially if you're going to have leftovers. I wouldn't say go over 2, especially even if you're not going to have leftovers, because it's going to get too oily. Okay, also I want you to get 1 garlic clove, crushed. Right here. Then we'll go to quarter teaspoon of ginger. Chop your ginger fresh, people. Don't actually buy it already done. That way you get the fresh, has all the good oils in it still, and it's going to be a lot better for you. Alright, 3/4 tablespoon of crushed red pepper. I've opted to go with a half a tablespoon because I personally don't like to have that much red pepper in anything I do. Okay, also we got a 1/4 cup of apple juice. You're going to go with a 1/3 cup of soy sauce, a 1/2 cup of water. You're also going to be putting light brown sugar, not brown sugar. So we'll go with 1/3 cup of light brown sugar. 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Yes, ketchup. And 1 tablespoon of cider vinegar. That's apple cider vinegar. Some of you guys will find it in the store. It looks like this. Just in case some of you probably aren't too familiar with it. You don't cook a lot. Okay. And that should pretty much take care of all of our ingredients for our dish today. So we'll be right back. We'll start cooking. Okay, now what we're going to do is start the meal. Bourbon chicken. Okay, now what I've done is started some water over here, start getting it hot, because we need some rice with this. Best thing to go with. Now we could make a stir fry or some kind of fried rice, but I'm just going to stick with a white today. I'm going to use a jasmine, and yeah, I'm going the quick and easy way. Yeah, I'm horrible with rice even to this day. So, okay. So the first thing we're going to do though, as we start our meal, is we're going to take the olive oil that we just poured, and we're going to put in there. We're going to put our pan high. We're going to heat our olive oil in this pan, and get that going. And as soon as that starts going, and we get it sizzling a little bit, then we're going to bring in our chicken and start throwing some stuff into this. And then all okay, to know that the oil is ready, what I want you to do is I want you to spread the oil around the pan. It's going to look watery. Once it looks watery, it's ready. But also, when you stop, it's going to suck in, and all the oil is going to contract. That's going to tell you the oil is ready. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take the meat. I want you to slide all 2 pounds of finely cut chicken into that pan. That's a lot of chicken, people. Spread it out over. Now, you're going to cook this till golden brown. That's what we're going for, golden brown with the meat, and then we're going to remove the meat. Okay, now our chicken's about done. What you're going to do, you're going to take your chicken, you're going to scrape it into a strainer, and try to leave a little bit of that oil in the bottom there. That way you can use it later for some taste. Now, I am removing my chicken. Now, I've left mine a little lighter, a little white. You can do it till it's a golden. I like mine to still have a little bit of rawness to it. Okay, now we're ready with that. Now what I want you to do is take all your ingredients that you just prepared before. I want you to pour them in the pan. There goes your apple juice. There goes your fresh red pepper. There goes our ginger. There's our soy. Here's our brown sugar, light brown sugar, remember. Here's our vinegar, apple cider vinegar. Here's our crushed garlic. Make sure we get as much of that out as we can. And what's left? Got some water. Stop that sizzle in its tracks right there. Okay, now we still got one other thing. We're gonna go for our ketchup. Yes. Oh, splattered all over me. Look at that. I guess the ketchup didn't like me today. Okay. So, remember you're doing 3 tablespoons if I can get it to come out. There it goes. Ketchup's tricky like that. It's 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons. Ketchup. Use my fingers again. Stir that up in there. Okay. Now all our ingredients are in there. We've got it nice and piping like that, nice and hot and sizzling. Okay, now that you got it sizzled like that, I want you to bring it down to medium heat. And it's still going to sizzle like this, but I want you to really mix this. And see how I do this with the spatula? Put it down in the bottom and I jiggle it back and forth. What I'm doing is I'm really mixing that up real good because I want it to all mix in real well. That's what I'm going for, really well mixed. Then, now that we've done that, I'm going to take the meat back and we're going to drop the meat back in here. We're going to let this simmer for about anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. Measure your stove up if you're cooking and all that good stuff. We're going to simmer this into that. Now sometimes I don't cut into chunks like this, sometimes I cut into thin strips. That was another way to do it. But today we're doing chunks. So I'm going to put it over that medium heat and just let it sit there like that. Simmer around. I'm going to stir it around a lot. Keep a good eye on it. Okay, now that the chicken's in, I want you to bring it up to a hard boil. So let's raise the heat a little bit from medium. Sometimes your stove matters what heat it's at, but we want to get it up to a hard boil. You know, keep burning your spatula underneath like that and swing it around. Then mix the chicken on top. Make sure you get it all mixed in good. Once we get a nice little boil to it, then I want you to reduce the heat again and bring it down to like number 2 or a little lower. You can even simmer if you don't. It matters to your stove. Some stoves are a little more powerful than others. So then we're going to bring it down, let it cook down. Actually, I'm going to put mine on low right now. And let's make sure we're getting this water ready. Now I'm moving it from my small heating burner to my super hot burner. I got ultra quick heat burners for quick boil, which are really nice in these glass top stoves. If you get them, they boil your water really fast on demand. And we're going to keep sizzling this down. Like I said, this could take 20 minutes to get it where you want it. So just keep going. Remember to scrape up that bottom a little bit. You don't want anything to start cooking onto the bottom. You got a lot of sugar in this dish too. We'll just keep cooking it down, mixing it around a little. Now I've decided I want to put a little taste into my rice. Okay. Now even though I'm using a boiling bag, I can still flavor my rice a little bit. Now what I'm going to use is a black soy. This is a Thai soy, Healthy Boy brand. I'm just going to pour a little eye shot in like that. Not to do it too crazy. I'm also going to take a little bit of brandy. Yeah, surprised, huh? Just a little dab of brandy in there. Stir that around in with the boiling bag rice because I want to get a little bit of a flavor to my rice. I'm not real happy with just straight white rice. Sorry. So do a little something like that for it, and let it sit there and absorb some of that flavor in there. Okay, now that I've got this rice to a really good boil, my boiling bags are halfway full, almost done. What I want to do now is add hoisin sauce, which you can get at any Asian grocery. Squeeze a little bit in there. Don't have to go too crazy with it. A little bit can go a long way with this stuff. So a lot of these Asian sauces really go a long way. So we're going to keep adding this a little bit more in that one. because I don't want that to be an overpowering taste in the rice, but it's going to be in the rice. It's going to taste good too. We'll see. Now we're not obviously doing a fried rice, but this can add flavor as it absorbs the water. It's going to absorb. It's going to make the rice take a little longer to cook though. Adding these sauces to it. Okay, now that your rice is done, I've removed the rice, put it into a strainer and let it sit to get rid of the heat. Now I'll put this pan back on the heat, and I want you to take a little dab of butter or margarine, you know, whichever you want. Don't want to use too much, just enough to moisten your rice a little bit. Cook this in. And we moisten our rice so that it doesn't, with oil or the butter or a margarine, I prefer margarine, to actually keep it from hardening, because you're not going to use all the rice right away. You might come back for seconds, you might want to store it later. So put your butter in there, melt it down. Then I want you to take your rice baggies that you've just proclaimed. Alright. We're going to slice the top off the bag, like that. We're going to dump it in. Now we're going to turn the heat off now, because we don't want to cook this rice anymore. We just wanted to melt the butter. We're going to mix the rice in a little with the butter. And, I've got a couple bags. Do as many as you want. Now remember, with this dish, you can also customize it. Do what you want with it. Add mushrooms, you know, to the meat while you're simmering it here, and or onion, you know. Onion will change the flavor quite a bit. Mushrooms won't. Mushrooms will absorb the flavor and give you a different texture to the dish, and even more of an earthy tone. Don't have to go portobello. You know, you can go with the regular little white toadstools or whatever. You know, whatever you want to put in there. So you have to mix the rice up a little bit. Take it off the heat. Get it nice and a little butter to it to protect it while it sits. Put a lid on it. Let it sit there. And your rice will stay protected and ready for you to use when you're ready to use it. Okay, now what I've done is I've shut the heat off to this, but I'm going to leave it on here sizzling. That's fine. And we're going to pull our rice out. Now, I'll take my rice. I'm going to put my rice. I'm using a bowl. You can use plates. However you want to make this dish. It's up to you. I'll put a little rice in my bowl that I've seasoned my particular way. You don't have to season it the way I did. You don't have to season this the way I did, but it's up to you. Now, what I'm going to do is take, I want to use a spoon here. I'll take a little bit of my chicken here, throw it on. Some chicken on my dish. But I want to make sure I soak up a little bit of that gravy there for my dish. And make sure you don't leave your plasticware inside your pan, because you will melt it. And so, there we go. And again, thank you for joining me in Wayne's Kitchen. I'm Wayne, and now you've made another delicious dish, bourbon chicken over rice. And remember, have your loved ones and friends do the dishes. You cooked. Thank you. Have a good night.